With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight. Swift Motorsports heads off to the high-banked high speeds here at Daytona International Super Speedway for the second night in a row. The Performance Motorsports Truck Series hits this 2.5-mile super speedway in the Real Clash 88. That's right, the Real Clash here tonight for these drivers out there on track. Happy hour already in the books. Qualifying underway. Just about 2 minutes remaining here in our qualifying session. I tell you what, we'll go ahead and throw some of those numbers up there to the top left of your screen. Let you follow along with some of the timing and scoring over there. Sebastian Guggen sitting in the top spot right now. Quick time for that 84, 52-45. How you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, Darkside David the Cave bringing you all the calls from the track. And there's going to be quite a few crazy calls here tonight. I can guarantee you, crazy finish to last night's Ayers iRacing Paints Arkham Menard Series. Man, it was quite a crazy little finish there. Seen the 19 of Andy Starcher win last night's race. He is in the field as well as that 28 of Ron Shooty taking the second spot in last night's race. Not seeing Cody Brown out there walking away with that third position last night. But right now, man of the moment, Sebastian Guggen, first time in that pole position all season long. As drivers get set to run down through tonight's race number 7 in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. And the points battle shaking up to be something quite serious in the making right now. We'll get to that here in just the next few moments. Gonna take a quick pause and head down trackside for the national anthem. Then we will get things going here tonight with your championship standings coming into tonight's race, as well as your starting lineup for the Real Clash 88 live here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
So proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And back trackside as the drivers begin to make their way to their trucks. They're going to strap themselves in for 88 laps around this 2.5 mile super speedway here tonight. Taking the pole position, that 84 of Sebastian Guggen. Heck of a job out there by that 84 and his entire crew. Big shout out and tip of the cap for walking away with the pole position here tonight. And as we said, we're going to run down your championship standings coming into tonight's race number 7 in season number 2 here for the Performance Motorsports, sponsored by Swift. There you can see it, Todd Cray, last week's race winner here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sitting at the top of your point standings right now, 241 points to Cray. Alan Young, a close second, only 4 points behind. Third place right there, Caden Atkins just 18 points back, and only 20 points out of the top spot. Edward Bray sitting right there in fourth. Michael Atkins Jr. right there in fifth. Harrison Thorndike, Nick Hunt, and Guggen, as well as Larry Poling, round out your top 10. You will notice just now cracking inside of your top 20. There you can see that 16 of Austin Hill, slowly clawing his way towards the top of some of the standings throughout Swift Motorsports. Multiple different series being run here, and it looks like drivers are beginning to go ahead and jump in their trucks. So we'll jump to the front of the field. There you can see your pole sitter ready to fire things off here tonight. And if we learned anything about how things are going to go here at Daytona International Superspeedway, we've seen a long green flag run. We've seen those green flag pit stops happen last night. How long will these Truck Series drivers be able to maintain on those tires? Will they need the fuel before the tires, or will we see a calamity caution-filled race? Only 3 cautions last night. Pretty clean race for super speedway racing. So look for tonight to be just as action-packed and just as critical for a lot of the drivers out there hitting the track here tonight in race number 7, just on the outside of the halfway point, and looks like those bells are going off in the background. You know what that means. It's time to give you tonight's starting lineup for the real clash. 88 here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, rolling off in the top spot inside row number 1, the 84 of Sebastian Guggen. Just to his outside, familiar face, the 59 of Jim Thorndike. Row number 2 here tonight, Lee Staples and Todd Cray. Row number 3, Edward Bray in the 66 machine, and the 86 of Alan Young. Slotting in on the inside of row number 4, Chris Scala. Ron Schutte just to his outside. Jimmy Cormier going to bring his 95 into the 9th starting spot, and rounding out your top 10 for tonight's real clash, 88, Caden Atkins in that 2 machine. Inside row number 6, Austin Hill, followed by Brian Hitz. Stephen Ayers Jr. going to make up the inside of row number 7. Toby Bird just to his outside. Ryan Branchew, John McMillan Sr. in row number 8. Row number 9, Nick Hunt and Michael Atkins Jr. and the always fast 41. We'll keep an eye on him, see how long it takes him to make his way up through the field. First time start here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series for that 99 of Jarrett. We're going to leave it at that. John McMillan Jr. sitting just to his outside in the 20th position. Jason Ayers right there, slotting his 44 into the 21 starting position. Last night's winner, Andy Starcher, starting in 22nd, 23rd. Gary Wells and David Cameron back in the 24th position. Driver's going to get ready to hit the green flag. We're getting ready here tonight, as well as that Ford Mustang pace car makes its way to pit road for the first time here tonight. And green flag in the air. We're super speedway racing here tonight for Swift Motorsports race number 7 in season number 2. That's right, these Truck Series drivers gonna lay it all out on the line in a very dominant front half of the field. Chevy Silverado sitting first through 4th. 1 Toyota inside your top 5 as Thorndike and Guggen flip-flop the lead a few times there through turns 1 and 2. We'll keep an eye on all the gaps. Everybody up through the gears. Everybody down and away fairly solidly, and it looks like Todd Cray, Andy Starcher, those 2 drivers a little bit behind the field here tonight. Looks like they may have missed the start and had to start from pit road, they are already in some trouble, and both of those drivers out there on track. We'll take a look at them. There you can see Starcher right here. No trouble on the start of the race. Running strong. Just running all alone. Back to the front of the field where all the action's at. Jim Thorndike leading that inside lane. He's got Alan Young just to his rear side, and you've got Guggen out there on the outside. He's got Ron Schutte lined up just with him. Caden Atkins right there, third truck outside lane. The 16 of Austin Hill looking to break into the top 5 here tonight. There you can see that pretty blue 16. Third truck now on that outside lane, trying to get to the top spot. Schutte able to push Young by into the bottom of the track. Does Schutte drop to the bottom once he clears, staying in that outside lane for now? Gonna run that high side. Looks like he likes where he's at. Looks like he likes to control that pace, control that momentum. Doesn't look like he's ready to drop down there anytime soon. Now side by side as the inside lane makes up a little bit of a ground, and there you see a calculated drop back by multiple drivers here. Nick Hunt, Michael Atkins Jr., John McMillan Sr. and Jr. back there in that second pack. Jason Harrison right there as well. David Cameron, Larry Bowling all right there packed up in that second group. There you can see him already 3 seconds behind your race leader, giving themselves more than enough buffer if they need to get on the binders really tough and really hard. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out for these drivers if that's necessary, and if not, these drivers are going to be able to save a little bit different on the fuel here. These drivers up in the front of this pack, sitting right there around where Ryan Branchew is, the 7th place, about 4 cars back in line. You're able to save quite a lot of fuel, being able to stay off the throttle, down and around about half throttle or so, and still be able to keep pace by that aero push and pull. That draft able to keep you going without having to stay on the throttle. And a big move to the outside by Schutte, 2 almost to the top of the track to block that. Caden Atkins almost at a moment there with that precision number 2. Still side by side all the way back through your top 10 as we are green flag since the drop of the green flag here tonight. All 5 laps in the book already. Fast paced by these drivers. Looks like they're running right close to where they were running with each other in happy hour. So the speeds in the draft right there mimicking that. Some very quick times so far here tonight. Looks like fastest time out there on the track, 49:18. And that was out of that 10 of David Cameron, who is back behind this field, about 4.5 seconds away from your race leader. But still packed up with a few of these Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers. Nobody really showing any dominance right now. Ron Schutte able to take control of that outside lane at the front of this field, but has had an opportunity to drop down to the inside, but has elected to stay to that high side. There you can see the 59 of Thorndike looking like he's trying to get out of Dodge. The driver's not giving him the room. He's going to go ahead and come back up on the track. That's going to put him 3 wide for a brief moment. The 22 going to back out of that. Brian Hitt said, nah, don't want any of that this early in the race, and almost in to that outside wall. That was a close moment there. I believe that may have been Toby Bird up there almost into that side wall. That could have been pretty bad for a lot of the drivers. And that may have been the 66 of Edward Bray almost into that outside wall. That's who we seen. Still a drag race at the front of this field for the lead of tonight's Real Clash 88 here in race number 7 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift. knocking on the door of the halfway point in the season here. Only 15 races in these short stacked seasons provided to you by Swift Motorsports. If you're looking for a place to race, looking for a place to run, you can find yourself working your way up through the ranks or possibly being placed in one of the Ford series that they have here in Swift Motorsports. So if you're looking for a ride, looking for some fun, head on over there to swiftmotorsports.com. You can also check them out right here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. Head right over there into the league directories and type in Swift Motorsports. It'll pull it right on up. Give these guys a shout. You can also check them out over there on Facebook, Swift Motorsports on Facebook as well. So if you're looking to get out here and mix it up with some very, very high caliber, very talented truck series drivers, you may be able to do just that. So head on over to swiftmotorsports.com. Going up and into that outside wall. Struggling and off the pace now, falling back just in front of Jim Thorndike. That 95 machine of Jimmy Cormier up into that outside wall, and you can see the pace that it has cost him. That right side definitely scraped up. I mean, we've seen the sparks flying. Just how bad is that damage on the 95? Doesn't look too horrible, but the aerodynamics very critical, very important here, and he's going to have to stay tucked in right up behind somebody to keep this thing alive here. Very early trouble for Cormier and that 95 crew. Back up at the front of this field, the two of Caden Atkins looking for the top spot. Not going to be able to grab it as Alan Young right there at the front of this field has control of this race. Few different race leaders here already working just lap number 10. We have had 5 different race leaders, and now Caden Atkins looking to go back to the top of the speed charts. Try to get up and around that 86 machine of Alan Young being pushed by your pole sitter, Sebastian Guggen. He's going to look to the outside for just a brief moment as Atkins brings his 2 machine to the bottom. That's going to leave Ron Schutte out there to the outside with Austin Hill and Ryan Branchew. We've seen Branchew last night use that high line quite a bit, so look for him to be very comfortable out there in that Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Truck Series machine trying to get his way to the top spot. Jim Thorndike gonna join that outside lane, now be the 4th truck on the outside, and we're gonna see this happen quite a few times over the course of tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna see that outside lane push forward just a little bit, then that inside lane gonna come right back. That good old-fashioned accordion effect gonna happen here, as it looks like we've got multiple different packs now beginning to develop. There you can see a few of the drivers struggling to stay on the back end of this lead pack right there. Edward Bray, Lee Staples, Brian Hitz, Jimmy Cormier all lined up back behind this 9-car little front pack. Then we've got ourselves a 4-car pack running right about the 3 seconds off of your race leader. Then Jason Ayerson, Larry Poling, David Cameron back there. 3 cars, 3 trucks in that 3rd pack. And it looks like strategy already coming to play here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway for race number 7 in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. The Real Clash 88 on tap here tonight. 13 laps in the book. 12 laps in the book as we begin lap number 13. I should apologize. Sorry. There's always that thing called math. That's always right. As long as you do it right. Moving on, looks like drivers gonna have themselves a handful, gonna have to fight their way back up on to the lead lap. Andy Starcher, Todd Gray, both of those drivers missing the start of the race, starting way behind the field. Now in very close danger to being scored off of the lead lap. There you can see that familiar Monster Energy machine running that high lane. The 19 of Andy Starcher gonna fall through the field, fall victim to the race leader, and fall back into that lucky dog position. So just because you won here at Daytona last night doesn't mean you're gonna have any bit of advantage here tonight. And unfortunately for Starcher, he is already being scored off of the lead lap, but still a very long way to go here tonight. Over 60 laps still remain in tonight's race, so it is a very long time to go. And how about if we get one of those cautions? How many of these drivers may be caught up in it, and how soon will it happen? It's Daytona. We always know that big one is lurking. It's just a matter of time, a matter of when, but not sure. We've seen a few long green flag runs here go almost the entire time. At super speedway tracks, we'll have to wait and see how this one all plays out, but we can always assume when we come to these big, huge, high-speed, high-bank tracks, the super speedways such as this in Talladega, you can always expect a big one to rear its ugly head at some point in time. The carnage, the chaos, the calamity just waiting around one of these corners. And the field looks pretty calm here at the front. Alan Young continues to lead that inside lane with Ron Schutte in the 28 machine leading the outside. His Toyota Tundra does have help from not just familiar faces, but familiar manufacturer right behind him. The Toyota Tundra of Austin Hill right there to the outside of, right there behind Schutte as they make their way by that 21 of Todd Cray. So last week's race winner from Dover not having any luck here tonight after missing the start. Todd Cray now also gonna fall off of the lead lap, being scored as the first car or one lap down. There you can see Andy Starcher just behind him, and that's gonna be a battle all into itself. You gotta put yourself in a position, should we get that caution, that you're able to pit and get back on the same lap with these drivers. So that lucky dog position, very important to both. That 21 and 19 of Starcher, both recent race winners here in Swift Motorsports. So that just once again is a testament to the caliber and level of drivers here in the umbrella, the league as a whole. Here in Swift Motorsports, you've got race winners struggling off the lead lap very early here tonight at Daytona International Super Speedway. Still side by side at the front of this field, Alan Young, Ron Schutte, neither one of them able to assert their dominance just yet. Austin Hill back up right behind Schutte. And as these drivers continue this longer green flag run, I'll tell you what, why don't we go down to a few of our onboard cameras that we do have out there tonight. I tell you what, let's jump down on board. Let's jump down on board with that too of Caden Atkins. Trucks look pretty stable right now from the vantage point inside the cockpit of this Ford F-150, being piloted by Caden Atkins, running in the 6th position. Third car right there inside lane, and just to his outside, like it was planned, like it's a team move or something. Look at that on the outside. 4X Racing was lined up just all on that outside lane. As Ron Schutte, he's going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack, assume the race lead, and that's going to give the 16 of Austin Hill command of that outside lane. So drivers look like they are using that outside lane to now leapfrog. And look at this. If that's not calculated moves right there, oh my, I don't know what is. Branchew and Hill able to just fly right on by. And green flag pit stops already underway. Oh, and down goes. Ooh, I believe that was Stephen Ayers Jr. Yes, it was hard contact for Stephen Ayers Jr. with that inside wall coming to pit lane. Got a little bit out of shape, so tough break there for Stephen Ayers Jr. And I tell you what, we'll see if we can't take a look at that here in just a moment. There you go, dude. Got it queued up, and there you can see contact in the 95 into the back of the 62, and Stephen Ayers Jr. hard into that inside concrete barrier. That's going to more than likely put an end to his night. Drivers with some more trouble on pit road, missing his box, trying to get the car stopped was Stephen Ayers Jr. as back at the front with your race leader, Austin Hill, going to bring his machine to pit road. And that's going to leave John McMillan Jr., Sr., and David Cameron all out there on track. Looks like they're going to break away for pit road this time by. So all your drivers already on and off pit road. David Cameron on the pit road right now. There you can see him. That 10 machine struggling to get back around the pit road, and he's going to lose quite a bit of time as the 10 has yet to come to pit road and has yet to keep himself on the lead lap. So big time trouble for all of those drivers out there tonight as they're trying to make their way to pit road. A few of them with a few incidents, a little bit of trouble there. 95 collecting the 62, and yes, it does look like Stephen Ayers Jr. is starting to push that machine behind a pit wall. That is going to put an end to his night. David Cameron now also falling down off of the lead lap. There you can see Jim Thorndike coming off of pit road, and Thorndike gonna try to keep a little bit of this draft, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to. These top 5 drivers looking to scoot away from the field. Austin Hill, Ryan Branchew, Caden Atkins, and Alan Young starting to set sail. And off in the distance there, you can see Ryan Branchew, Austin Hill just in front of this pack of 5 drivers led by Caden Atkins. They're going to get caught up, gobbled up more than likely right here. Not sure if they're going to stay in line, or does Caden move to that outside. There you can see the late move about halfway down the backstretch, so that too waiting to show his hand, and that's going to bring a battle to the front of the field because not all the drivers going with that two of Caden Atkins. They're going to stay at the bottom with Austin Hill line up right there to that inside lane. And my goodness, I'm telling you what, if this isn't 4X planned and 4X executed, I don't know what is, because man, they are on a mission right now at the front of this field. And as we find ourselves rolling through that first round of green flag pit stops, tell you what, we'll head through the field with a little bit of our driver spotlights running in that top spot. Driver inside that 16 Toyota Tundra running in the first position, Austin Hill. Has not led a lap yet here tonight, but running right at the front of the field, Toledo, Ohio's very own 6 of Ryan Branchew. Starting to see a familiar theme. Ron Schutte right there in that 28 machine. Third truck in line. There you can see that familiar Serve Pro machine, and just behind him, the 2 of Caden Atkins in that 4th spot. And what do you know, here comes that 86 of Alan Young right there in that 5th and final spot inside the top 5. Also, Chris Scala, where did he come from? Quietly just creeping his way up through the field here tonight and sitting now in the 6th spot. And we'll go ahead and give Jim Thorndike in that GTR Simulator 59 An honorable mention here in the 7th spot. That is your last driver in this lead pack. 7 drivers with a 6-second advantage over your next pack. Back there you can see all of these drivers being led around Daytona International Super Speedway by Lee Staples in that 5 machine. He's got Edward Bray, Jimmy Cormier, as well as Michael Atkins Jr., your pole sitter. Sebastian Guggen in the 84 machine right there in the 12th spot. Brian Hitz 13th, and Toby Bird in the 23 machine, last driver inside this pack here. And then well behind this field we do have our 3rd pack out there on the track. There you can see that 00 of Nick Hunt. He's got both of the McMillan clan right behind him, and Jason Ayerson, last truck in this 4-truck line back through the back of the field. That's from 15th all the way to 18th, and they are about 26 seconds off of your race leader. That's going to be a hard task to overcome a gap of that size. They're definitely going to need a caution to help themselves catch up, as we are just over a quarter of the way through tonight's race. Looks like we do have one more driver in pit road. Looks like Stephen Ayers Jr. taking that machine back down pit road, not quite able to meet the minimum speed just yet. 62's night has went from bad to worse. Gonna end up scored in the last position here tonight in the 23rd spot, back on a pit road, trying to fix and minimize all that he can. Look for him to get out, try to meet that minimum speed. We'll jump back up front with the battle for the race lead, and not quite that big of a battle. Looks like these drivers willing to get single file here tonight, willing to just kind of log the laps through the meat portion of tonight's race, that middle section of the race. Just go ahead and get these laps in, get them done, get them over with. We can mix it up at the end. Let's step away from the field and get this to be a 4X shootout at the end. What do you say? And that's exactly the way it has unfolded here tonight. Those drivers maneuvering and positioning themselves in the right spot in order to take advantage of the green flag pit cycle. And right here, all those drivers sit once again at the front of this field. Your top 7 have broken away by over a 6. Now make it just at the 7-second mark. Back to the driver in the 8th spot, the 5 of Lee Staples. He's got Edward Bray, as well as Jimmy Cormier, Michael Atkins Jr., Sebastian Guggen packed up with that 2nd pack. And there you can see that distance. You can't even see them making their way out of turn number 4 by the time these drivers make their way halfway down the front stretch. Lap 29 now underway out of the 88 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Keep in mind we do have one green-white checkered attempt should we need it. We did not need one last night, although there was some crazy late race action. And there you can see, looks like that 2nd pack starting to get a little bit more organized. Haven't made up very much ground at all here, but now looking to be a little bit more organized, a little bit closer. That draft, that push is going to get bigger and bigger. And as the drivers really have to start looking at their pit windows, their fuel thresholds, looks like most of these drivers back on lap number 20 or number 19 or 20. These drivers all headed down the pit road. So that's going to mean that drivers are going to have to hit pit road once again right around lap 38 to lap 40, 41, depending on how much you want to try to stretch it. And that's not going to be an even number of pit stops. You're going to be short on one of these stops. So look for some of these drivers maybe to possibly try to extend this 2nd and 3rd green flag run. The cycle, should we stay crystal clear on the track and clean and green from flag to flag. Driver's going to have to make at least 4 pit stops to get to the end of tonight's race. Drivers already making 1 pit stop, so 3 more needed. Will anybody try to play that fuel strategy game and stretch it on out, put themselves in or at risk if a caution does come out? We'll have to wait and see how all of that still plays out, as we are still green flag racing here tonight. Long stint to open up tonight's race number 7 in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series right here in Swift Motorsports. Your top 7 drivers all still packed up right there at the front of the field, but closing in rather quickly now. That gap disappearing. It was at one time over the 7-second mark, now down to just under 5.5 seconds back. Lee Staples, Edward Bray, Michael Atkins Jr., they are making some headway. They are heading towards the front once again. And if these drivers continue to trend the way they are, no, they're not going to make up the entire gap, but they're going to make up to where they're within about a second and a half of this lead pack. So that is quite a bit of ground. That is quite a bit of distance to make up over the course of a green flag run. So a big shout out and hats off to those drivers in that second pack, putting it down right now, lap after lap, just blazing fast. We're going to take a look at all of the last laps by, try to see where the fastest drivers are on the speedway. And last time by, the fastest driver on the track with a 49.17. This man, that's right, back in your second pack. Driver of that 23 machine, Toby Bird, with a 49.17 as the quick time that last time by for the race laps. And consistently looking over here at this timing and scoring, this second pack has been turning in about 3 to 4 tenths a lap faster times than the drivers up in that top 7 truck breakaway up at the front of the field. They do have a lap machine or 2 mixed in with them. I'm not sure if that's hurting them or not. And now those lap times beginning to get closer, beginning to mimic and mirror each other once again. Just 1/10 faster this time by for the second pack on screen right here, still being led by that 5 of Lee Staples. We'll jump back to the front of the field once again, riding on board on screen right now. That 16 of Austin Hill, Ryan Branchew, Ron Schutte. Back in that third spot, Caden Atkins right there still running in fourth. Alan Young, after leading a handful of laps here tonight, sitting back in the 5th spot. Chris Scala in 6th. Jim Thorndike in that 7th spot. And last driver still on the lead lap, tucked in right here. There you can see that 21 of Todd Cray. Cray being scored off of the lead lap all the way back in the 19th position. Cray is the first driver off of the lead lap, so he's sitting in a fairly good position right here. If these drivers begin to make their way into some of the slower packed cars, I can see John McMillan Sr. leading a pack that starts at the 14th spot and runs back to the 18th position on the speedway. That's about 4 or 5 drivers there, 33 seconds behind your race leaders. So just about 10 seconds out in front of this lead pack. They're going to be in danger of falling off of the lead lap here very shortly. So as Austin Hill, Branchew, and Schutte make their way around some of these drivers, putting them a lap down, Todd Cray in a very good spot to get right there and stay right there, right behind the race leaders, in a position to try to get himself back on the lead lap and stay in that top lucky dog position. And it looks like Cray abandoning that spot in line, letting some of these lead lap cars go by. And there you can see, indeed, Jim Thorndike makes his way by, and here comes Cray trying to get to the bottom. Gray not quite able to get to the bottom yet as the 10 of David Cameron. He's multiple laps down. Gray lets him go by, and then he drops down to the bottom. There you can see trouble for Stephen Ayers Jr. That machine well off of pace, only 150 miles an hour on the speedway right now. That is going to put some of the race officials, some of these Truck Series drivers on alert. Going to be keeping an eye on that, make sure that no fluid gets put down on the track from that particular truck, being that beat up, that damaged after that contact with the outside wall. Now we take a look back at this second pack being led still by Lee Staples. That distance now under 2.5 seconds, almost just 2 seconds between the front pack of 7 drivers and this next pack of 6 drivers making their way into the mix. Right when we begin to see those green flag pit cycles start to need to happen, they're going to start to take shape, start to take effect here. I would say in the next lap to 3 laps, we should see most of these drivers make their way down pit road for what will be the second green flag pit stop. We'll have to wait and see if anybody else is caught out there tonight by those pit road police. And looks like Jimmy Cormier as well as Larry Poling, both of those drivers going to head down pit road that last time by. Now Edward Bray, Lee Staples, Toby Bird, Brian Hitz, they make their way to pit road. Your lead pack going to stay out there on track, so losing a lot of help is that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. and Sebastian Guggen. We'll take a look back there. You can see those 2 drivers. They have lost a lot of help, but they are right there on the cusp of getting with this front 7-pack of trucks. And if they can do that, that is probably going to do more to help them than going to pit road with the drivers that they made their moves to get back in a position to be here with this front and lead pack. Austin Hill in the 16 machine, he continues to lead tonight's race as drivers all head to pit road. Everybody scrambling, getting down. Looks like clean and clear, and contact between that 84 and the 10 of David Cameron. Contact coming to pit road for Sebastian Guggen. He'll make his way down to get that little bit of a dent fixed up and popped out. He'll be good to go. No harm, no foul there. Just a slight little rub as they made their way onto pit road. What will this McMillan clan do? They're going to stay out this time by. It does look like it. No, Nick Hunt and Jason Harrison, they're going to bring their machines down to pit road. That is going to be quite interesting. Now the McMillan clan, there you can see them putting multiple drivers 1 lap down, able to make their way by that entire lead pack that already came to pit road, to make their way by with ease. Drivers in those top 2 spots right now, the McMillan clan, as I have coined them here, junior and senior running on the track. They're going to have to break away for pit road for their second pit stop, and there you can see them making their way down now. And once again, going to take control of tonight's race. Heck of a job on and off pit road, getting fuel only, it looks like, for the 2 of Caden Atkins. He'll reassume the race lead. He's got 1.2 second advantage over Michael Atkins Jr. just in front of Ryan Branchute, Austin Hill, and Alan Young. And man, I'm telling you, that is going to be a lonely place for that 2. That truck is going to get swallowed up by this pack of cars that's coming in a hurry. 4 lead lap cars right there, all nose to tail. They're going to eat up Caden Atkins as they make their way by him on the exit of turn 4. Atkins going to stay on the bottom of the speedway. Your top 2 drivers, 3 drivers all making their way by. And for the first time here tonight, new race leader Michael Atkins Jr. No, not the first new time we've had a race leader, but for the first time in the race lead. New race leader, Michael Atkins Jr. We've seen him come to pit road at a different time than most of the other drivers. Wasn't really in sync and in queue with that lead pack, but with that crucial call on pit road to go with just right sides and fuel, he was able to slot himself back on track in a very good position and take control over the race lead just in front of Ryan Branchew, Austin Hill, Alan Young right there in that front pack. Caden Atkins sitting in that fifth spot. Just 0.3 of a second off now. There you can see that 5 of Lee Staples and Edward Bray. Those two truck drivers have been slowly clicking off much faster laps than your race leaders. As a matter of fact, last time by 47.94. Fastest lap of the race here tonight for that 5 of Lee Staples, catching that trap, pulling his machine up to that lead pack. Staples and Bray go sub 48-second laps that last time by. As drivers hit the stripe, this time will begin the halfway point here tonight from Daytona International Superspeedway. No cautions so far. We stay clean and green for all 43 laps in the book. No real clear-cut winner or leader in the most laps led column here tonight. Walking away with the pole position, though, was that 84 of Sebastian Guggen. Let's check in with your pole sitter. Let's see what's happened. He's running back here a little bit behind the field, back in the 10th position now. As you see him second truck in that outside lane as those packed up machines make their way by the back marker, the 95. Struggling here tonight after hard contact with that outside wall. Jimmy Cormier gonna let those 4 trucks right on by. And it does look like struggling just a little bit to keep pace with that 3 truck pack just in front of him. Sebastian Guggen having a little bit of trouble getting all the speed that he needs out of his Chevy Silverado. Back at the front of the field, not having any trouble with the speed, Michael Atkins Jr. looks to crack into victory lane for the second time so far this season. We have had 4 different race winners. Todd Cray, your only multiple time winner here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift Motorsports. I tell you what, race fans, it has gotten a little bit stretched out, but there is a ton of strategy being played out right before your eyes. Your top 7 drivers have broken away to just over a 6-second race advantage back to this smaller 4 truck pack. There you can see him. Todd Gray actually makes him the 5th truck in this little pack. They are closing in. They are slightly faster than those race leaders, Jim Thorndike, Ron Schutte, Chris Scala, and your pole sitter, Sebastian Guggen, looking to head back up to that lead pack, looking to put their names back up into that hat to be in the mix-up at the end of tonight's race when it all matters, when it all goes down. Getting now through the meat of things here tonight. Do want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here tonight. So if you haven't already, throw these Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 Racing headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're just casually sliding through, or if you are the dedicated friend. That's a whole new word, a friend. I'm going to coin that one. That would be your friend, fan, or family tuning in and week out. We do appreciate you each and every time you stop by. So go ahead while you're here, and throw these drivers a thumbs up. Back at the front of the field, Michael Atkins Jr. in the 41 continues to lead the 6 of Ryan Branchew, Austin Hill, Alan Young. Caden Atkins round out your top of 5, Lee Staples and Edward Bray. Last drivers right there in that 7-car breakaway, still just over the 6-second margin between Bray and Thorndike. Jim Thorndike in the 59 GTR Simulator machine is leading that second 4-truck pack. This is the question I've had. Here you go, those race leaders running into some of the back markers. These are drivers trying to keep themselves on the lead lap. They're going to jump to the outside, and we've got a battle for track position, really, side by side, that entire inside lane fighting to try to keep themselves on the lead lap here tonight. Drivers on the outside are your lead lap cars, so multiple different scenarios going on here, and this couldn't be at a worse time for these drivers leading the field, because that pack, that 4-truck pack, just a little bit behind them, was able to gain a little bit of distance, but now fading even more rapidly than what they have been. So maybe spotters getting on the horn saying, hey, it's about to get racy here. Looks like drivers may have checked up just a little bit back in that 4-truck pack, so we'll stay right here for the battle at the front of the field. Ryan Branchew still tucked right behind Michael Atkins Jr. as they make their way down the backstretch on lap number 50, heading off into turn number 3. Your race leader, Michael Atkins Jr., doing his best Dale Earnhardt Jr. Pied Piper impersonation, right now leading that entire string of 7 cars on the lead lap. There you can see a few of them getting back down to the bottom of the speedway. Lee Staples, Edward Bray not quite able to slot in down on that bottom lane just yet. Now some of the lap cars jumping to the outside. That was the 00 Popeyes machine of Nick Hunt making his way up and around one of those back markers, slotted in just in front of him, in contact with the outside wall. Big time trouble. Toby Bird scraping that outside wall. We've seen what impact that had on some other drivers here tonight. That has dropped Jimmy Cormier well off of the pace here tonight. And how bad was that scrape? There you can see that right front exposed just a little bit. You can see that tire right there from the front end of this car, and quite a bit of damage on that right side for the 23. Look for him to be on pit road very shortly here tonight. Back with your race leaders, though, back with this front pack as they continue nose to tail at the front of the field. Michael Atkins Jr. still leads the race up 17 spots from where he started here tonight, and he is your turn 3 biggest mover of the race so far here. Can he seal the deal and run this thing on out? We'll have to wait to see how it all plays out. Slowly but surely, drivers are going to begin to make their way into that pit window once again, knocking on the door of what will be our 3rd green flag pit cycle. Should we stay clean and green to the end of tonight's race, drivers will have to make one more pit stop after this 3rd. 4 pit stops in total needed to get to the end of tonight's race. Who's willing to stretch it? Who's willing to risk it for the biscuit here in the Real Clash 88? And haven't done it yet, race fans, so why don't we go ahead and get you some of that right now. We're going to mute the mics for just a brief moment, head down trackside for a little Turn It Up. And a battle for the front, a battle for the race lead, a battle no more. Edward Bray, driver that we are on board with right now, making his way through the tri-over here. He'll take control over the point of tonight's race right here on lap number 57 out of the 88 scheduled in the official race distance. Bray taking his 66 to the top spot will go back outside these trucks right here as they make their way out of turn number 2 and back onto the backstretch. That was that Popeyes machine of Nick Hunt that pushed Edward Bray right to the front and right around your former race leader, sitting right there in the second spot now. The 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. Ryan Branchew still sitting just behind that 41. Austin Hill slotted in the 4th position right now. Caden Atkins back to the 5th spot. Alan Young, Lee Staples round out your top 7. Jim Thorndike sitting back in that 8th spot still has Ron Schutte, Chris Scala, and Sebastian Guggen lined up with them. And my goodness, with all these green flag pit stops, ladies and gentlemen, that has shook up the field just a little bit here tonight. Gonna run down through a little bit of house cleaning as we are well past the halfway point here tonight. 23 drivers took to the starting grid here tonight. We have still got 20 drivers out there on the speedway and 11 drivers left on the lead lap. Nobody. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Very, very close coming to pit road right there for the majority of that front of the field. Alan Young looks like he's going to be the only driver to stay out on track out of that entire lead, those entire lead lap cars, as the 66 hard into that inside pit wall. Alan Young miscue onto pit road right there, and that could cost you quite a bit of time, quite a bit of track position. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out here. But drivers closing in on what could be the final stop. They're going to have to stretch this thing, and I just don't think they can. They've all been coming to pit road right at about that 20-lap threshold, so these drivers short on fuel. They're going to have to either short pit tremendously here, or they're going to have to pit late for just about a tank of fuel. We'll have to see who has that best strategy as Alan Young, your race leader, heads down pit road all alone. Very lonely feeling right now for that 86 crew as Austin Hill makes his way back up to speed with help from Ryan Branchew, Lee Staples, Caden Atkins right there behind them. Michael Atkins Jr. still in touch, still in tow, so we're going to have a 5-truck breakaway at the front of this field. We've got multiple teams recognized here as we begin to click off the laps and close in the lap count on tonight's Performance Motorsports Truck Series, race number 7 in season number 2 here at Swift Motorsports, live on the Turn 3 Racing Network, your home for everything Swift, coming at you Monday through Wednesdays. We've got the Ayers Eye Racing Paints Arkham Menard series, as well as this series right here, this fast-paced, highly competitive Performance Motorsports Truck Series, as well as your RB Rigs Custom Computers Xfinity Series. Look for these drivers to mix things up once again tomorrow night here at Daytona International Super Speedway. The Xfinity Series gonna hit these high banks for the first time of the season, and who will reign supreme as the restrictor plate king doesn't look like it's gonna work out for Andy Starcher. Starcher not able to repeat last night's race winning performance in the Ayers Eye Racing Paints Arkham Menards series. Starcher being scored off of the lead lap back in the 18th position. Lap number 62 now underway out of the 88 scheduled in the official race distance. We'll get rid of the ticker for just a brief moment. Throw you a little bit of that side-by-side scoring tower. I think it's such a beautiful thing to look at. It scrolls through right there. You have it all on your screen for you, all at your disposal. You can follow along just as we do here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. Austin Hill now with a challenge by Michael Atkins Jr. Jr. has Caden Atkins pumped up right behind him. Those two trucks looking to make their way by the 3, joined on the bottom side of the track. Austin Hill, the 6 of Branchew, with Lee Staples lined up. Third truck in line just back behind Staples. I believe that is Alan Young, driver that made a solo pit stop right there, trying all he can to try to hold on to these 5 Truck Series drivers packed up just in front of him. Doesn't look like it's going to work out. Slowly but surely losing that ground, and Alan Young has got a long way to go before he has any help or any company. Ron Schutte, as well as Chris Scala, Edward Bray, Jim Thorndike, over 10 seconds off of your race leader. That's 8 seconds back for Alan Young, so he is going to lose quite a bit of ground before he can find any help. And as your race leaders cross the line to take their very next lap, only 25 laps now remaining in tonight's Real Clash 88 live here on Turn 3 Racing Network from Daytona International Super Speedway. Still have that battle raging on between your top 5 drivers. Michael Atkins on the outside has help from that Precision machine right there. You can see that too of Caden Atkins. Man, he has been all over the front of this field. Now going to leave Atkins high and dry. The 2 drops down to the bottom just in front of that 5 of Lee Staples. So looks like that nose to tail run gonna take place once again here. Your top 5 drivers now single file looking to walk away from some of the race leaders. Now we're going to take a look back as that battle at the front kind of fizzled on out. There you can see Alan Young 4 seconds behind Lee Staples in no man's land, just all alone here. And there you see that hornet's nest raging in the background. Ron Schutte has control over that line on the inside. Or now he does, as he drops to the bottom of the speedway. Edward Bray still tucked up just behind him. That was Chris Scala leading that inside lane. Nick Hunt just behind him. Hunt goes to the top to help Craig. Jason Ayerson right there. Jim Thorndike with a move to the bottom of the speedway. Just 10 drivers remain on this lead lap as we work ourselves to just 23 laps remaining. Jim Thorndike in the 59 tucked in right here. There you can see him, 4th car now on the bottom as he drops from the top to the bottom, from 4th in line to 4th in line. Now on the inside lane, Thorndike, last driver on the lead lap, scored in the 10th position. Not much to be said, not much to be seen at the front of the field. Ooh, looks like back marker almost into that outside wall. I say back marker, but that is just the solo driver of, of Alan Young. That 86 has lost quite a bit of ground, but now he is in some good and solid company. He can stay tucked in line right here. There you can see him drop down to the bottom of the speedway just behind the 22 of Brian Hitz. And Hitz will somehow help him out, pull him right there to that late pack. There you can see already making his way, getting a little bit of the sniff of the draft off of Jim Thorndike. So Thorndike, as well as Young, looking to try to close some distance late in the race. Only 21 laps remaining in tonight's Rail Clash 88. My goodness, race fans, the time is flying by here tonight as we have been green flag racing the entire night so far. Clean and green all night long. These Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers putting on an absolute clinic on restrictor plate racing as well as strategy in team maneuverability. These drivers putting on an oh my goodness, do apologize about the pop there. These drivers putting on an absolute clinic on how to get the job done. There you can see Michael Atkins Jr. He's going to jump, make a position up. Now going to be slotted right there in that third spot. Caden Atkins Jr. sitting, or Caden Atkins, no, Jr. there. That's Michael Atkins in front of him. Whew, those names are kind of tough. And with now just 20 laps to go, when do these drivers hit pit road? That fuel window is just on the verge of opening up. Do they go ahead and hit pit road now to top off with the fuel to have enough to the end? Driver off of the lead lap just inside of the 20th spot. Larry Poling going to bring his truck down for what should be the final stop of the night for that 69 crew. But what does your race leaders do? What does Austin Hill, Ryan Branchew, Michael Atkins Jr., Caden Atkins right there in the fourth spot, Lee Staples, what do these top 5 drivers do? Do they come to pit road right now when that fuel window has opened up? Or do they stay out, extend the run, wait for that second pack that is over 10.5 seconds back, wait for them to hit pit road just to cover them up? Well, not going to have to wait very long for our answer. 4 out of your top 5 drivers all to pit road. That time by Ryan Branchew, Austin Hill, Michael Atkins Jr., and Caden Atkins all bring their trucks down to pit road. Lee Staples going to stay out on the track. He's got help from that 23 of Toby Bird, so not without a running partner just yet. But still, it is going to be quite a task to try to get himself right there with a pack. Staples could find himself falling into no man's land just the way that Alan Young did. And Staples gonna stay out on track even longer, so looks like maybe Staples gonna play the caution strategy here. Ascala, Schutte, Thorndike, all to pit road that time by. So just a handful of drivers yet to make their final green flag pit stop. Lee Staples, Edward Bray, and Alan Young all stay out on track, but advantage of those 3, I'd have to put it in the hands of the 66 of Edward Bray with Alan Young. Those 2 drivers packed up with each other, running nose to tail on the track, while your race leader, yes, he's got some help, but he's got some help from some wounded machines just behind him. The 23, the 19, as well as I do believe that is the 69 of Larry Poling in that Mountain Dew Baja Blast machine. And now down to pit road goes Lee Staples. Andy Starcher in the 19 gonna follow through. Starcher with a rough night here tonight. Not looking like he's gonna have a repeat of last night's race win. So looks like we'll jump back up with this 4-truck battle now, as Ryan Branchew now leads that inside lane. He's got Austin Hill in the 16 tucked in just behind him. Michael Atkins Jr. just to the outside with Caden Atkins with him. Those 2 drivers tucked in nose to tail once again, so it's a side-by-side battle for the race lead. Where will Lee Staples, there he is. I was looking to see where he was going to rejoin the raceway, and look at the time that he has lost already 2 seconds behind the pack of 4 drivers that he was running with. So unfortunately missing the call to come to pit road, and Staples gonna fall back outside of your top 5 give Edward Bray a moment, and he will be there. Staples sitting in that last spot inside your top 5 right now as they run. With 4 green flag pit stops under the belts of these Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers, I don't know how you can get any better here tonight. Clean and green from the drop of the green flag so far here tonight. Yes, they're a little bit spread out come to the end of this thing, but that's just the way you want it. That's exactly the way you want this thing to play out, especially if you're on a team. And speaking of teams, you've got multiple teammates up there at the front of this field. Michael Atkins Jr. going to drop to the bottom. That's going to leave Caden Atkins out there all alone. Don't look for that 2 truck to stay out there by himself for very long, and just like that, within a straightaway of time, the 2 goes ahead and concedes and drops to the back of this 4 truck pack. You got to give yourself an opportunity. You got to give yourself a spot. You stay out there on that outside lane and you're going to lose a ton of ground. So Atkins doing exactly what he needs to do to give that 2 truck a shot at the race win at the end of tonight's Real Clash 88 here for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift. Looking through the timing and scoring, Lee Staples kind of in no man's land right now. 9 seconds behind your race leader and 4 seconds in front of Edward Bray. So still a long ways back for any type of help for Staples. And man, that has got to be a hard break. That has got to crush your spirits just a little bit, running pretty much the entire race up inside your top 5 or 6 spots, and then right there at the end of the race with under 20 laps remaining, you lose touch with that lead pack, and your race hopes and dreams go right out the window. And normally, race fans, this is about the time that you would hear me say, business is about to pick up. Drivers knocking on the door of 10 laps to go, just 12 laps remaining as they make their way down the back stretch and into turn number 3. How willing will any of these drivers be to really just put themselves in a compromising position to walk away with a race win? The only driver out of these top 4 drivers that has been to victory lane so far here this season, in season number 2 for the Swift Motorsports sponsored Performance Truck Series, Michael Atkins Jr., the only driver to visit victory lane. So Branchew still hunting that first win, as well as Hill and Caden Atkins just back there, 4th car in this lead pack. And this lead pack has just slowly dwindled down, just whittled away little by little with each and every green flag pit stop. We have seen more and more trucks drop out of this lead pack. We had it upwards of 10 drivers in the lead pack at one point in time, and then it just slowly inched down to about 7, maintained 7 for one green flag pit cycle, and now we are down to just 4 cars at the front of the field with 10 laps to go. It is time to find out who's gonna do what they gotta do to get to victory lane here tonight. Clean and green for all 78 laps that are in the book here so far tonight. And how much longer will we see that green flag fly? Will we see the dreaded late race caution? Or will we see this thing green to the end? Looks like Jason Harrison, Nick Hunt, and Brian Hitz all to pit road for what should be their final stop of the race. Those drivers all electing to try to take this short fuel strategy. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a harm or foul for any of those three drivers being scored off of the lead lap before they made their way to pit road. And 12 drivers left on the lead lap here, but still having to hit pit road for what should be their final time. John McMillan Sr. and Jr. both have to come back down pit road. They were back on lap number 60 is when they came down pit road the last time. I don't think they're going to be able to stretch the fuel to get to the end of this one, so look for those two drivers to not just come to pit road, but fall off of the lead lap and maybe fall through the timing and scoring pylon just a little bit. As with these four drivers breaking away from the field, I tell you what, let's go back to this little scrum and battle raging on. Jim Thorndike, Lee Staples, as well as Chris Scala, Edward Bray, Alan Young, all packed up right here with each other. Ron Schutte, last driver on the lead lap that has made their final pit stop, sitting in the 10th position, sitting about 17 seconds behind this pack. And there you have it, John McMillan Sr. as well as Junior both bringing their machines to pit road this time by. So both of those Chevy Silverados going to hit pit road for a small bit of fuel to carry themselves to the end of tonight's Real Clash 88 live here from Daytona International Super Speedway. Your race leader still that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. And as I said in the pre-show, race fans, we have seen some of these restrictor plate races go clean in green from flag to flag. Wasn't quite sure if we were going to be able to do it here tonight in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, but these drivers not only proven me wrong, but proven that they can and will get the job done so far here tonight. I may have just jinxed them, but we'll have to wait and see. 6 laps remaining here from being able to complete tonight's race without a single caution. And that, again, ladies and gentlemen, is a testament to the amount of skill and talent in this league, in this series. And if you want to be a part of it, you can head on over on Facebook.com and check out Swift Motorsports. You can also go down there to the league directories and find them on iRacing.com. iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. High five for your race leader that time by just 5 laps to go. For Michael Atkins Jr., will he be able to get to victory lane for the second time of the season and pull one win closer to Todd Cray? Cray has had a commanding hold on not just the race wins, but also the points lead throughout the season so far this season, in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift here tonight. 4 laps now remaining, and Michael Atkins Jr. still leads this Ford truck pack at the front. And Caden Atkins looks like he's had enough. He's ready to try to move to the front. Doesn't look like Austin Hill is ready to quite make that jump just yet. He'll stay third in line on the inside. Now Caden Atkins Jr. jumping. Caden Atkins jumping to the outside. He's going to pull just to the rear bumper of Ryan Branchew, trying to use a little bit of that side draft as they enter turn number 3. Now side by side with Austin Hill for that third spot. Will Branchew jump to the high side, or will he stay with the 41? Looking a little bit squirrely going through the corner that time by. Not looking to the outside just yet, but Caden Atkins has had enough. He is ready to try to take back over the race lead late in the going. Just 3 laps remaining for your top 4 driver to try to bring it on home here tonight, and continuing to run right next to that best friend, that double yellow line. Michael Atkins Jr. continues to lead the field late in the going, but he has got 3 hungry Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers lined up just behind him. Which one is gonna make the move, and when are they gonna make that move? Coming to the line this time by your race leader. We'll see those popsicle sticks on display here, ready for the final 2 laps. We could still see that pesky late race caution rear its ugly head and put us in a green-white checkered scenario. These drivers just got to get back around one more time, and it's going to be the final lap of the race. Michael Atkins Jr. doing a phenomenal job keeping Ryan Branchew in a very hungry Austin Hill. Caden Atkins right there as well. Looks like they were trying to fall back just a little bit and get a bigger run on the drivers at the front of the field. Not able to do so. And Atkins, it jumped to the outside of Austin Hill, and that's going to pretty much box Hill in. He's not going to be able to make a move to the outside lane. He's going to have to stay tucked in right behind Ryan Branchew, but what that does, that gives Branchew the opportunity to use a little bit of a run, jump to the outside, and get the help that he needs to get by on this final lap. White flag flies here at Daytona International Super Speedway. And Austin Hill able to make his way back up by Caden Atkins. Your top 4 still nose to tail, making their way off of turn number 4. Now down onto the backstretch, looking to the outside. Ryan Branchew takes control of the outside lane. Big push by Austin Hill. Hill side by side with Michael Atkins Jr. 3 wide for second. The 2 to the bottom of the speedway. Ryan Branchew leading the outside lane. Austin Hill looking to drop to the bottom. Big block by Branchew as he goes to the bottom. Hill looks back to the top side. It's blocked by Michael Atkins Jr. Hard in the outside wall. He's going to lose the lead. Oh my goodness. Austin Hill battling, beating, banging Caden Atkins Jr. Oh my goodness. What a finish. I tell you what, we're going to back that up. We got to look at that one more time. That was some crazy action coming off of turn number 4. There you see already after the trouble, and Ryan Branchew off of the nose of the 2, beating and banging with Austin Hill. Oh my goodness, and getting the job done. Walking away with the top spot. Caden Atkins Jr. comes sideways across the start-finish line to take the race win. We'll take a look at it from this point of view. There you can see drivers side by side. Oh my goodness, what a finish. Absolutely crazy good finish to tonight's race. And there you can see your race winner enjoying the cool down lap here tonight. What a run for the 2 of Caden Atkins, getting the job done. Salute my man, great job. And as that 2 begins to enjoy his post-race celebrations, we're going to step away from the track for just a brief moment, set things up for your post-race interview. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Sits to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though. Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
It's going
And back trackside as the fans begin to file on out after a wild finish, after a clean and green from flag to flag race here in the Real Clash 88 for Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Man, I tell you what, it doesn't get much better than that. So with all that being said, we'll go ahead and we'll fire things off into our post-race interviews. Let's see if we can't catch a quick word with the driver inside of that 41 machine. Michael Atkins Jr., it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Sir, I got you.
Hey, man. Crazy finish to the race, huh?
Oh, well, it wouldn't be Daytona if it wasn't wild at the end, right? That's kind of why. That's kind of what everybody expects at this track anymore.
Yeah, I mean, amazingly, tonight. I say amazingly because everybody expects the big one here, not just at Daytona International Superspeedway, but also Talladega. What's your thoughts on the fact that these drivers were able to go the entire race with no big one, no caution coming out the entire night?
Well, I was talking with my team, Performance Motorsports, and not going to say drivers' names, actual call them out, but just the way it was going in practice, it was some wobbles and bobbles, but Truck Series, it's still some greenhorns trying to gain experience, not on our racing, what I've heard, but just understand the trucks in general. So won't be too harsh on them, but it's they go green to checkered. That's rare. I've been on the sim for roughly 10 years now, and it's these tracks, Daytona, Talladega, yeah, that's rare. But it was nice to see for a change. But I think apparently my teammate Nick Hunt brakes was dragging just a tad bit, so we fell back 9 seconds. How I made that up in my pit strategy, I don't know. Before I knew it, for the first stop, I was, right there around 12th, 13th. I was like, hey, I might have a shot at this. And then before I knew it, I was out there with, Austin E. Hill and his teammate there, Ryan Branshaw, and it was another fun week. I've had a blast every week since I've been in the season, and can't wait to see more.
Well, Michael, it was another fantastic finish for you, another podium. Not quite able to get to victory lane here tonight, but still a good, solid third. So congratulations on that yet again here. And before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that 41 truck?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Endlessly Performance Motorsports. Also got to thank East Coast Motorsports, also officials, Checker and Darren Clement. Can't wait to work with y'all on NIS Open and stuff like that, and other series and stuff on our racing. But shout out to Don Kidder with Performance Motorsports, Andy Starcher, Hyperdrive, just all the admins for putting this league on. I say it every week. I'll keep saying it because without them, this wouldn't be happening, and we wouldn't be having fun.
All right. Well, we do appreciate your time here tonight after the race here tonight, Michael, and we'll look forward to catching up with you possibly tomorrow night. Let's go at it again. What do you say?
Can't wait. Let's go.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from the driver walking away in that final podium spot here tonight. The 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. walking away into the third spot, and that's going to bring us to the driver walking away in the second spot here tonight. Let's see if we can't get ourselves another Cinderella story here. Austin Hill walking away with second yet again. My man, are you gonna get to victory lane?
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of time. Daytona is just one of those racetracks that you just try to make it to the end, really. And if you have a shot at it, you try to go for it. I really, honestly, wasn't even trying to win that race tonight. I mean, I was going into it, but I was trying to get our teammate Ryan Branchow. I was trying to get him in victory lane. I thought that the 41 had more of a run on the outside lane, so I went to go block that line, and I blocked it a little late. I ended up getting into him and putting him in the wall, so that was my bad there. But yeah, and as soon as I moved up, I realized that he didn't have as much of a run as I thought, and I should have just stayed in the inside lane, because that opened the door for Caden. And um, I don't know what really happened between him and Ryan. Ryan ended up going to the inside wall and wrecking and everything else, and then it was a kind of a drag race from there to the start finish line. And Caden just had more of a run than I did, getting that draft on Ryan, and then once he turned him or whatever happened there, um, he was able to have that momentum. I tried to kind of side draft him and door him a little bit to slow him down, but just came up a little short. But I did what I wanted to do tonight, and that was finish inside the top 5 and just get some good points. I missed the first 2 races, so I've been playing catch up to get inside that top 12, and I think I'm there or really close to being in the top 12 now. So now that I'm there, I just got to get a couple wins under my belt, and I know it'll come. Just gotta just keep grinding it out and just keep putting in the work.
Yes, indeed. Another solid finish for you in that 16 crew. As you said, you missed a few races at the beginning of the season, but you have slowly clawed your way into a nice spot in the point standings with just about half of the season remaining. Multiple times in second place here in the Truck Series. You visited victory lane in the Xfinity Series here. I want to speak to the volumes of being able to go flag to flag here at Daytona International Superspeedway. We all have seen the official lobbies and things of that nature here on iRacing. How impressive is it to see 23 drivers out there on track and able to stay green from flag to flag?
Yeah, it was pretty big, especially with all the pit stops that we had. We had, I want to say, 4 pit stops. So it was pretty impressive to see all of us kind of coordinate that and do all the pit stop stuff. And a few of us were on different strategies, and that's why you saw some of us get strung out, and you saw, a couple different packs just because of the way everything unfolded. So it was interesting to see how everything unfolded. I was honestly waiting on the big one to happen. I didn't know. It looked like it was actually going to happen with us 4 at one point. I think Ryan got the apron or something and got into the 41, and everyone kind of had to check up. So it was pretty wild there at the end. It got pretty interesting. I thought that we put on a pretty good show there at the end of the race, trying to go for the win. But like I said, it was just one of those nights again that we just ended up that one spot short. But we're doing everything we need to do, and that's consistently running the top 5 and just stack up these points and get ourselves locked into the chase. So that's the number one goal. And after that, we just got to keep. Once we get in the chase, we just got to keep that intensity up and just stay inside the top 3, top 5. And if we can get some wins, great. But the biggest thing you want is that championship. So. But I do have to give a big shout out to everyone at Forex Racing tonight. I believe all of us finished in the top 10, so that was really good for our team. We worked really well together tonight. A few of us kind of got strung out, and one of us was in one group, and one of us was in a different group. So there at the end, we didn't get to all battle it out for the win, unfortunately, but we were all able to come home with solid finishes, so that was good.
Absolutely. Well, Austin, another solid finish for you in that 16 crew. As we've already mentioned, going to do you well in the point standings. And before we let you go and enjoy the finish tonight, anybody else you want to thank, or anybody you forgot on the side of that 16?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up running my United Rentals paint scheme tonight that I'm going to be running this Friday night at Daytona. So yeah, the United Rentals look pretty good. Hopefully we can be one place higher come Friday at Daytona and end up in victory lane instead of second like we did tonight. But yeah, our Toyota Tundra was fast, and everyone at Forex Racing did a heck of a job tonight. I hate that one of us Forex guys didn't get the win, but looking back at how the race unfolded and where we ended up, it was a good night for us, and we'll go on to the next one.
All right, my man. Well, we do wish you the best moving forward through the season here. We do wish you the best on track this Friday night. And hey, I want one little promise. If you get to victory lane, you got to give turn 3 a shout out. What do you say? You think we got a deal?
Yeah, I'll have to tell my PR guy that.
I was gonna say you might have
I'm
to
bad
make
about-
sure you're okay, but you know.
Yeah, I'm bad about forgetting things. He has to write some of it down sometimes, just to remind me whenever we win a race or something, to thank all your sponsors and do all those things. So yeah, I'll try to throw that in there.
All right, Austin. Well, my man, again, congratulations on a great run, and good luck this week down there on the track.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
There you have it. That was your second place finisher of the race here tonight out of 4X Racing, knocking on the door of a race win once again, but not able to quite get the job done. The 16 of Austin Hill. And that's going to bring us to none other than the man himself, the man of the moment, the man of the hour, walking away with the race win. First time win this season, Caden Atkins. It's David in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, my man, visiting Victory Lane for the first time this season in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. How good does that feel?
It's pretty good, actually. I've been running well the whole season. It's good to finally get a win.
And you mentioned that you came into tonight's race third in the points, just 18 points out of the top spot. Walking away with a race win, that's going to do you a lot of good, get you right on the cusp of possibly taking over the points lead. How do you feel now that you've got that the race win in your back pocket? We're just at the halfway point in the chase. It's right around the corner. The end of this season is right there. How do you and that 2 crew feel now moving forward?
I think it shows that I can win in the series, and I wanna win on not just a super speedway. I want to win the regular season championship. I don't know if there's a prize for that, but I just kind of want the bragging rights. I'm just 8 points behind right now, so hopefully I can get it.
Well, as we said, you made up a ton of ground with that race win. You just got to string together a couple more great finishes, maybe another win in there. But let's talk about that last lap a little bit if you want. Things got a little crazy coming off of turn 4. Walk us through the end of it from your seat.
Yeah, the whole time when it was just the 4 of us, I knew that Ryan and Austin were basically going to work together no matter what. And I saw them make the move down the backstretch, and then I also got the run with them, and I decided to take it to the inside of Michael. So we're 3 wide, and then I knew I was I was probably screwed because he wasn't going to help me after that. I knew that. And then I don't know what happened with them, but they lost the momentum, and Ryan was on the inside, and I got a big run on him. And I didn't mean to turn him. Like I hit his bumper, and I hit him in the left rear and not square, and I just shot him to the inside. And I didn't mean to do that, but and then it was just a drag race to the end. And we were just door slamming, and I ended up getting it.
Well, with it being somewhat of a crazy finish, could you imagine winning Daytona any other way?
I mean, not really. Usually they get pretty crazy towards the end. It's kind of surprised when stuff doesn't go down at the end of one of these races.
Well, Caden, I mean, you done a fantastic job. You kept your 2 machine right where it needed to be basically all night long. You found yourself running in some tough territory at times. How's it feel to be running so close to the front but surrounded or no real help, no teammates there with you? You're just kind of surrounded by the enemy.
Yeah, I feel like I have made a couple of just kind of friends. Like I guess Todd. We in the recruitment races I guess we were racing hard with each other, and I don't really have any teammates, but next season I'm looking to get some teammates in this league, and I'll have some help for these races.
All right, Caden. Well, my man, I know you got a lot of things lined up down there now that you have been to Victory Lane, so we won't keep you very much longer. Before we do let you go, though, you want to give any final shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that two-truck?
Precision Designs and Dane Cruz for spotting me, and you for broadcasting, and everyone that puts this league on. It's a lot of fun racing.
All right, Caden. Well, congratulations once again, making your way into the winners column, and we look forward to catching up with you a little later on through the season.
Yep, thank you.
There you have it. Final words from the driver walking away in a Victory Lane here tonight. There you can see it right on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. The 2 of Caden Atkins. Man, I tell you what, he got the job done at the end of tonight's race. From flag to flag here tonight, green flag to checkered flag, no cautions all night long here in the Real Clash 88, and it was a real clash of drivers in space coming off of turn number 4 on the final lap. Your top 4 drivers all making contact with each other. 2 drivers not faring so well out of that. 1 driver walking away sitting pretty, and now down in Victory Lane and in the winners column for the first time this season. Big time shout out and salute to the 2 of Caden Atkins, able to get the job done here tonight in race number 7 of season number 2. And it does sound like producers ready to run down tonight's unofficial race results, and they look a little something like this. From the Real Clash 88, race number 7 in season number 2, walking away with that race win, first time race winner this season, the 2 of Caden Atkins. The 16 of Austin Hill gonna slide in the second spot. Just behind him, Michael Atkins Jr. rounds out your podium spots. The 59 of Jim Thorndike gonna come in 4th, while Edward Bray finishes in 5th. The 6th place goes to Chris Scala. Alan Young walking away in 7th. 8th place goes to the 5 of Lee Staples. And Ron, shooting in that 28 machine, gonna finish the last car on the lead lap back in the 9th spot, and rounding out your top 10 after being right there off of turn number 4 at the end of tonight's race, the 6 of Ryan Branchew. Todd Craig gonna walk away in 11th. 12th spot goes to John McMillan Jr. Nick Hunt gonna slot home in the 13th spot, while McMillan Sr. brings his 75 home in the 14th spot, and the 44 of Jason Harrison gonna finish in 15th. Last night's race winner, the 19 of Andy Starcher, tough luck here tonight, finishing 3 laps down from your race leader back in the 16th position. Toby Bird slotted in 17th. Larry Poling walking away from the track in the 18th spot here tonight. 19th goes to Brian Hitz, your pole sitter with some trouble. The 84 of Sebastian Guggen gonna fall off the lead lap and finish back in the 20th spot here tonight. Jimmy Cormier gonna finish in 21st, while David Cameron slots home in the 22nd spot. Stephen Ayers Jr. with some early trouble. His night comes to an end back in the final spot on the race track in the 23rd spot. Big time thank you and shout out to the 2 drivers up there in race control here tonight. That was Jarrett as well as Gary Wells up there in race control, keeping everything straight on track, and not a lot of stuff for them to do here tonight. No cautions, kept those drivers pretty easily managed down there on the track, but still nonetheless great job by those guys in race control, not just tonight but all season long. And what a heck of a job by these Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers here tonight, going from green flag to checkered flag with no problems and no issues. Heck of a night. If you haven't already, race fans, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're just casually stopping through or you are the dedicated fan, friend, or family. We appreciate each and every one of you, because without you, there would be no us. And with that being said, stay safe, stay loved. Until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.